This is absolutely disgusting. Seth Rollins, the man who bled for WWE, who sacrificed his body night after night, who literally carried this company through some of its darkest days, has just been disrespected in the most vile way possible by Triple H and the new WWE regime. And what he said behind closed doors? It's going to make your blood boil. The backstage confrontation that just went down is something WWE desperately wants to keep quiet, but we're about to expose everything. If you're a Seth Rollins fan, you need to hear this right now because what's happening is an absolute travesty. Before we dive into the explosive details that WWE is trying to bury, we have a quick request for you. We are constantly working to improve our content to earn your love and support. That's why we would truly appreciate it if you could take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update here on Wrestling Zone Insider. Now, let's get into what's really happening with Seth Rollins and why this situation has blown up into the biggest controversy WWE has faced in years. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Seth Rollins walked into Triple H's office just days ago, and what transpired in that meeting has sent shockwaves through the entire locker room. Multiple wrestlers are now questioning their own futures, and the tension backstage is at an all-time high. Here's what you need to understand. Seth Rollins has been one of WWE's most loyal soldiers since he debuted with the Shield back in 2012. He's won multiple world championships, headlined WrestleManias, and worked through devastating injuries that would have ended lesser careers. When his knee exploded in 2015, he came back stronger. When he tore his MCL in 2023, he worked through the pain to put on classics at WrestleMania 40. This man has given everything to WWE, but according to insiders, Triple H and the new creative team have been systematically marginalizing Rollins for months now. His screen time has been reduced, his feuds have been lackluster, and younger stars are being prioritized over him despite his proven track record. And Seth? He's been quietly swallowing his pride and doing whatever WWE asked of him because that's the kind of professional he is. Trivia time. Before we continue, drop your answer in the comments. In what year did Seth Rollins cash in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Let's see who the real fans are. The breaking point came last week during creative meetings. Seth Rollins pitched several ideas for meaningful storylines that would elevate both himself and younger talent. He wanted to work programs that would create new stars while keeping himself relevant. But here's where it gets infuriating. Triple H and his team reportedly shut down every single one of his ideas without even considering them properly. They basically told him to sit tight and wait for the right opportunity. Wait for the right opportunity? This is Seth Rollins we're talking about. A Grand Slam champion, a WrestleMania main eventer, the man who rebuilt the Monday Night Messiah character from scratch and made it one of the most compelling acts in wrestling. And they are telling him to wait. But here's where things exploded. Seth Rollins, usually calm and collected in these situations, finally snapped. According to multiple sources who were within earshot of the office, Seth told Triple H something that nobody expected. He looked the game straight in the eyes and said, "You've become everything you used to fight against. You're doing to me exactly what Vince did to you in the early 2000s. You're burying people who don't fit your narrow vision." The room went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Triple H, visibly taken aback, reportedly tried to defend his booking decisions, but Seth wasn't done. He continued, "I carried your company through the pandemic. I carried Raw when nobody else could. I put over your new regime at WrestleMania working on one leg. And this is how you repay loyalty? By making me irrelevant?" Here's another question for the comments. Who did Seth Rollins defeat to become the inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the current lineage? Drop your answers below. Now, here's where this story takes an even darker turn. Following this confrontation, Seth Rollins reportedly told Triple H that he was seriously considering his options once his contract situation allows it. And get this, his current deal is coming up for renewal within the next several months. WWE has been operating under the assumption that Seth, being a company man, would re-sign without hesitation. But now, everything has changed. Industry insiders are now reporting that Seth Rollins has been in contact with several people outside WWE. While we can't confirm specific companies, multiple sources suggest that he's been receiving calls from promotions that would love to have a talent of his caliber. Tony Khan and AEW, obviously interested. New Japan Pro Wrestling, they build an entire tour around him. Even international promotions are salivating at the possibility. But here's what makes this situation even more explosive. Seth Rollins isn't just thinking about himself. He's reportedly been talking to other frustrated WWE talent about the creative direction under Triple H. Names are being whispered in locker rooms. Group chats are buzzing. There's a growing sense among certain wrestlers that the new WWE isn't as different from the old WWE as they'd hoped. Think about it. Triple H promised change. He promised long-term storytelling. He promised that talent would be valued and utilized properly. And while some stars have benefited tremendously under his regime, others feel like they've been left behind. Seth Rollins is now becoming the voice for those wrestlers who feel ignored despite their contributions. The most damning part of Seth's confrontation with Triple H, he allegedly said, "You used to understand what it felt like to be held back. Hunter, you lived it. How can you not see you're doing the same thing now?" That statement reportedly left Triple H speechless because deep down, he knows there's truth to it. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Seth Rollins has a valid point about how WWE is booking him? Are you Team Seth or Team Triple H on this one? We need to talk about what this means for WWE going forward. If Seth Rollins actually leaves, it would be the biggest departure since Centimeter Punk walked out in 2014 or when Daniel Bryan left for AEW. Seth is one of the pillars of modern WWE. He's been there through thick and thin. His exit would send a message to the entire industry that even the most loyal WWE superstars have their breaking point. Before we go further, we want to remind you that we work incredibly hard to bring you these exclusive insider stories here on Wrestling Zone Insider. If you're finding value in this content, please show your support by smashing that like button and subscribing to our channel. Hit that bell notification so you never miss breaking news like this. Behind the scenes, WWE officials are reportedly in panic mode. They never expected Seth Rollins to actually push back this hard. They assumed his loyalty was unshakable. Now they are scrambling to figure out how to repair this relationship before it's too late. But here's the problem. Seth isn't interested in empty promises anymore. He wants concrete plans. He wants to know his value to the company. Sources say that Nick Khan and WWE's corporate leadership have been brought into the situation. They understand that losing Seth Rollins would be a PR nightmare and a creative disaster. But Triple H, according to insiders, feels like caving to Seth's demands would undermine his authority with the rest of the roster. It's a power struggle happening at the highest levels of WWE, and Seth Rollins is caught in the middle. What makes this even more complicated is the personal history between Seth and Hunter. These two have known each other for over a decade. Seth was handpicked to be part of the Shield, a project Triple H was deeply involved in. They've traveled together, worked together, and built a professional relationship based on trust. But now that trust is shattered, some wrestlers backstage are supporting Seth publicly in private conversations. They see him as someone finally standing up to a system that often takes loyalty for granted. Others worry that if Seth leaves, it might create a domino effect where more established stars start questioning their own positions. Final trivia question for engagement: Seth Rollins has held the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship multiple times. But can you name the exact number of world title reigns he's had in WWE? Comment your answer. Here's what we're hearing about potential outcomes. Scenario 1: WWE offers Seth Rollins a massive contract extension with creative control clauses, similar to what top stars in other companies receive. This would be unprecedented in modern WWE, but losing Seth might be too costly to risk. Scenario 2: Seth finishes out his current obligations and quietly exits WWE when his deal expires. This would be the most shocking option, but it's genuinely on the table right now based on how frustrated he is with the current situation. Scenario 3: Triple H and Seth have another meeting, this time with cooler heads, and they work out their differences. Seth gets a meaningful storyline, possibly leading to a major WrestleMania moment, and everyone moves forward. This is what WWE is desperately hoping will happen. But there's a scenario for that nobody is talking about publicly but many are thinking privately. What if Seth Rollins decides to take a sabbatical? Step away for 6 months or a year, let WWE realize what they are missing, and then return on his terms with a completely reset dynamic? It's happened before in wrestling history, and it could happen again. The wrestling world is watching this situation very closely. Every dirt sheet, every insider, every podcast is discussing the Seth Rollins situation. Social media is exploding with reactions. Fans are divided. Some say Seth is being entitled. Others say he's absolutely right to demand better treatment. The debate is raging everywhere. What we do know for certain is this: Seth Rollins' relationship with WWE and Triple H has reached a critical crossroads. What happens next could define the next chapter of his career and potentially change the landscape of professional wrestling. Will WWE do what's necessary to keep one of their biggest stars happy? Or will pride and corporate politics lead to one of the most shocking departures in wrestling history? This is a developing story, and we here at Wrestling Zone Insider will continue to follow every development. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because when new information breaks, you'll hear it here first. Drop your predictions in the comments below. Do you think Seth Rollins will stay with WWE or is he gone? What should Triple H do to fix this situation? Let's discuss. The next few weeks are going to be absolutely crucial. Keep your eyes on Seth's social media, keep watching his body language on WWE television, and pay attention to any subtle hints he might drop. This is one of the biggest stories in wrestling right now, and it's far from over. Wrestling Zone Insider will be here every step of the way bringing you the truth that WWE doesn't want you to know.